Let's be honest. Most people won't tell you to your face that they don't like you. Instead, they hide behind polite smiles, empty compliments, and fake kindness. I've experienced this firsthand. I once believed someone was a true friend, only to discover that deep down, they were secretly hoping for my failure. That might sound harsh, but it's a truth we need to face. If you don't learn to recognize the signs, you'll end up wasting your time and energy on people who never truly understood or appreciated you in the first place. So, let's put aside the excuses and dive into a difficult but necessary truth. How to spot the signs that someone doesn't like you, even if they're pretending otherwise. You may not like everything you hear, but facing the truth is always better than living in denial. Before we begin, a quick note. Thank you for supporting our Stoic Tribe channel as it continues to grow. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe and like this video. It helps us reach others who might need this message too. Now, let's begin. Sign number 1. They constantly joke about your flaws. Almost everyone knows someone who enjoys making jokes, especially about others. And often, those jokes are aimed at your quirks, mistakes, or insecurities. They'll say something like, "Relax, I'm just joking," while smiling. But let's not lie to ourselves. These jokes often carry more than just humor. They are carefully disguised messages meant to chip away at your self-esteem. It's a subtle form of control, masked as harmless teasing. I remember going through a phase in my life where someone close to me always had something to say. How I dressed, the way I talked, even the projects I was working on. At first, I laughed it off, but over time, I noticed a pattern. The jokes were always aimed at my perceived weaknesses, never my strengths. Eventually, I started asking myself, is it just me? Are these flaws really that obvious? That's when I realized the real issue wasn't the jokes. It was the intention behind them. They weren't teasing me out of love. They were testing how much disrespect I would tolerate. This is manipulation in its quietest form. It's a way of keeping you in your place, of subtly reminding you that you're somehow less than them. And because we're conditioned to believe that not taking a joke makes us too sensitive, we often let it slide. But let me flip the script for you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with defending yourself when a joke goes too far. In fact, it's essential. You deserve to be around people who lift you up, not those who tear you down for the sake of a cheap laugh. True friends don't highlight your flaws to feel better about themselves. They celebrate your strengths and help you through your weaknesses, with kindness, not ridicule. I've seen this happen so many times. People allow disrespectful jokes because it seems easier than causing conflict. But the truth is, allowing people to joke at your expense is a slippery slope. It starts with small remarks but can quickly grow into something that makes you question your self-worth. The more you let it slide, the bolder they become, until one day you find yourself doubting who you really are. And let me tell you, I learned this lesson the hard way. By laughing along, I gave them permission to continue. I became a silent partner in my own harm. But when I finally began to set boundaries and speak up, something changed. Not just in how they treated me, but in how I saw myself. I stopped letting their words define me. I began to own my story. So here's my advice. The next time someone makes a joke at your expense, don't just smile and move on. Ask yourself, is this actually funny, or is there something deeper going on here? If it's the latter, don't be afraid to call it out. It may be uncomfortable. It may even end the friendship. But your self-respect is worth far more than someone's misguided sense of humor. Life is far too short to spend it around people who can't genuinely celebrate you. If their version of friendship is built on constant jabs at your character, it's time to find new friends. Sign number 2. They give you backhanded compliments. You know the kind. Someone says something that sounds nice on the surface, but it leaves you feeling insulted. It's like being slapped with a velvet glove. You pause and ask yourself, was that really a compliment or a hidden insult? Here's the bitter truth. It's often both. Backhanded compliments are a subtle way of tearing you down while pretending to lift you up. I remember working hard on a project, hours of dedication, energy, and focus. When I finally shared it with a group of colleagues, one of them smiled and said, "Wow, this is really good for someone like you." And I froze. It sounded positive, but for someone like you? What did that mean? Was I not the kind of person who could create something great? That's exactly the point. These disguised insults are never meant to empower you. They're designed to keep you in your place. It's a quiet form of dominance. By framing it as a compliment, they get to plant doubt in your mind without looking like the villain. It's their way of saying, "You're doing okay, but don't get ahead of yourself." And yes, it's toxic. The people who do this often feel threatened by your potential. They see your growth, and instead of celebrating it, they try to suppress it. These comments are meant to shake your confidence, to make you second-guess your achievements. It's a psychological push and pull. One hand pats your back, the other holds you down. And here's the twist. Many of us have done this too. Maybe not intentionally, but in moments of insecurity, we've used subtle digs to protect our own fragile egos. But that doesn't mean we have to accept it from others. You're not required to internalize anyone's disguised hostility. You have the power to recognize it and reject it. When someone says, "You're smarter than you look," or "This is impressive for someone new," you don't have to let those words define you. Ask questions. Challenge them. Say, "Thanks, but what do you mean by that?" Make them explain. Often, they'll stumble, caught off guard by their own masked insult. And that's when the power shifts. You see, their words were never about you. They were a reflection of their own self-doubt. Once I understood this, I stopped absorbing the negativity. I could see it clearly, and sometimes even laugh it off, because I knew it wasn't a mirror of my worth, but a window into their fear. Now, when someone gives me a backhanded compliment, I don't ignore it. I bring it into the light, and in doing so, I take away its power. Never let anyone define your value through subtle jabs, no matter how well disguised. Whether it's a friend, co-worker, or even a family member, remember this: your worth is not up for debate. A real compliment should make you feel seen and celebrated, not small and confused. If someone's words make you question your own abilities, then it's time to question their motives. Surround yourself with people who applaud your progress without hidden agendas. Those who recognize your light without trying to dim it. Sign number 3. They're always too busy for you. We've all heard the classic excuse. "I'm just really busy these days. Sorry, we haven't been able to catch up." And sure, it sounds reasonable. After all, who isn't busy? But something changes when you notice a pattern. They always seem to have time for others, meeting up with mutual friends, going out, making plans. Yet, when it comes to you, they're suddenly swamped. Here's the cold truth. They're not that busy. They're just too busy for you. I've been through this more times than I'd like to admit. I remember trying to reconnect with someone I once considered a close friend. I reached out to make plans, only to be met with excuses. Late work hours, packed schedules, endless stress, and yet, at the same time, they were clearly spending time with others. Posting stories, tagging people, laughing over brunch. That's when I realized something important. Too busy is rarely about time. It's about priorities. We've been conditioned to accept this as normal. But let's be honest. People make time for what matters to them. If someone constantly claims they're too busy for you, the issue isn't their calendar. It's their heart. That's a hard truth to swallow. It forces you to confront the fact that maybe, just maybe, you no longer hold the same place in their life. Telling someone, "I'm too busy," is a gentle way of saying, "I don't want to spend time with you," without admitting it out loud. Instead of facing the discomfort of honest conversation, they hide behind polite avoidance. Sometimes they keep you on the sidelines, not because they miss you, but because they want to keep you available, just in case. And I'll be honest, I've been on both sides of this. I've made excuses to avoid people I didn't want to confront. But being on the receiving end, that taught me the most important lesson. Honesty, even when it stings, is better than vague excuses. Eventually, I confronted my friend. I said, "Hey, I've noticed you've been really distant. Is something going on?" It wasn't easy, but it gave me clarity and the strength to move forward. Here's the deeper message. Your time and energy are precious. Don't spend them chasing people who won't make space for you. If someone is always too busy, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. You deserve to be around people who don't just make time for you when it's convenient, but because they genuinely want you there. And yes, relationships change. People grow apart. Sometimes we hold on because of memories, routine, or fear of being alone. But walking away isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's not about being needy. It's about having the self-worth to walk away from those who no longer choose you. Sign number 4. They avoid physical contact, like you have the plague. Let's talk about something most people ignore: physical distance. And no, this isn't just about romantic touch. It's about all human connection. A pat on the back, a handshake, a casual shoulder tap. These little gestures build comfort and trust. So what does it mean when someone avoids even the smallest touch? It means something is wrong. I once worked with someone who seemed to flinch every time I reached out for a friendly handshake or tap on the shoulder. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but then I realized they were perfectly warm and affectionate with everyone except me. Suddenly, I wasn't just being avoided physically, I was being emotionally pushed away too. That's the painful truth. When someone avoids contact only with you, it's more than just a quirk. It's a sign they're uncomfortable around you, or intentionally trying to create distance. Now, let me be clear. Not everyone is touchy-feely, and that's okay. But when they're warm with others and cold with you, that's not about boundaries. That's about you not being welcome in their emotional space. And we've all been there, on both sides. Maybe you pulled away from someone who felt off, or maybe you noticed someone recoiling from your presence and felt that sting. It hurts, and worse, it lingers. Here's what I've learned. Touch is about more than skin. It's about trust, vulnerability, closeness. When someone avoids that, they're avoiding something much deeper. They may not say it with words, but their body language tells the whole story. They don't want to let you in. I ignored these signs once, telling myself it was just personality differences. But when I finally accepted what was happening, I realized the truth. The relationship wasn't what I thought it was, and confronting it, that freed me. So here's your reminder. Physical avoidance isn't just a preference, it's often a message. And while it may be painful to admit, it's better to know where you stand than to live in uncertainty. You deserve relationships where hugs are natural, handshakes are warm, and closeness isn't something you have to earn. Don't be afraid to notice the signs. Don't fear asking the tough questions. Life's too short to be kept at arm's length, literally and emotionally. Sign number 5. They vanish when you need them most. Let's be honest. Nothing reveals the truth about a relationship like a moment of crisis. It's easy to be around someone when things are good, but what happens when everything falls apart? When you're going through something painful and the people you thought would be there for you are nowhere to be found. That's more than disappointment. That's betrayal. I learned this the hard way. During one of the most difficult periods in my life, I reached out to the people I trusted most. Just a call, a message, anything. But all I got was silence. I'm swamped at work. I'll call you later. They never did. And that's where things get real. People love to say, I'm always here for you. But when the moment comes, many disappear. They vanish like ghosts, not because they can't help, but because they won't. They don't want to share your discomfort. They don't want to carry your burden. And that's not forgetfulness. It's a choice. True support isn't just about convenience. It's about being there even when it's awkward, difficult, or uncomfortable. When someone disappears during your darkest hours, it tells you everything you need to know about your place in their life. They don't say it out loud, but the message is clear. Your pain doesn't matter enough. I've been there, supporting others through breakups, family issues, career struggles, only to find that when I needed the same in return, I was left alone. That hurts, but it's also a lesson. Just because someone smiles at you doesn't mean they'll stand beside you. Here's the truth. Support is the foundation of real connection, and its value is revealed not in easy moments, but in the hard ones. If someone disappears when you need them, they weren't really there to begin with. Let their absence reveal what their presence couldn't. And don't be afraid to use it as a filter, to separate those who only show up in sunshine from those who stay through the storm. The people who remain, cherish them. Nurture those bonds. That's the kind of connection worth keeping. And the ones who vanish, let them go. They've already shown you who they are.